Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Steve Kiltonick. I'll have the story of 3 Westfield natives of Irish descent who perished during the attacks on the World Trade Center 13 years ago.
I'm Terry Hegarty. I'll introduce you to a local cancer survivor and tell you why the upcoming Pink Mass and Survivors Celebration of Hope are so very important to her.
And people from throughout the Diocese of Springfield pay a visit to the relic of St. Anthony of Padua. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello everyone and welcome to Reel on this second weekend of September, and one that comes just a few days after a date that nobody can forget. It's been 13 years since the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives. For 3 Westfield families, life was forever changed on that day. Each year since then, at the Sons of Erin in Westfield, a ceremony is held for the 3 Westfield natives who lost their lives in the World Trade Centers. Steve Kiltonick now has the story of lives lost and remembered.
On September 11, 2001, America's innocence was lost as a terrorist attack on the World Trade Center and Pentagon became our 21st century's day of infamy. Nearly 3,000 Americans lost their lives that day, including 3 Westfield natives: Tara Creamer Shea, Brian Murphy, and Daniel Trant. Tara was a passenger on Flight 11, which crashed into World Trade Center's North Tower, where Brian and Dan worked on the 104th floor with Cantor Fitzgerald. All 3 grew up in strong Irish Catholic families with deep Westfield roots. The Sheas and Murphys were parishioners of St. Mary, while the Trants attended Immaculate Conception. Jim Shea, a former superintendent of schools in Westfield, raised his 6 children with his late wife Colleen in the same house he's lived for the past 49 years, not far from Stanley Park. On the wall leading up the stairs are pictures of the Shea children, each with a baby and high school graduation photo. Tara was the 5th child in the Shea clan. Jim's face lights up when he talks about Tara.
Outward personality, loving. She'd tell you what she thought.
After high school, Tara went off to the University of Massachusetts, where she majored in fashion merchandising. Here she also met her future husband, Brian Creamer. They eventually had 2 children, Colin and Nora.
She was dedicated to her family, her kids, her husband. Family was everything to her.
Brian Murphy was the 3rd of 4 Murphy children. And the oldest is that her brother embraced life.
Brian had a great spirit of adventure. He was, whatever he did full out. He was the nicest young man, always so kind and thinking of others, and extremely intelligent, outstanding vocabulary, really a good student. You know, you couldn't ask for a better brother. In fact, probably the 4 hallmarks of Brian's life were family, faith, friends, and fun.
Murphy went on to work on Wall Street as a stockbroker.
He was pioneering the electronic trading of bonds. And that's how he ended up at Cantor Fitzgerald on the 104th floor of the World Trade Center.
In New York, Brian met the love of his life, Judy. They had 2 girls, Jessica and Lila. Dan Trant was one of 8 children born to Mary and William Trant, who was a postmaster in town. Here at Westfield High School, Trant was a standout athlete in both basketball and soccer. In 1979, he was All-Western Mass on the hard court, and he still holds the school record for most points scored in a game, 47. He went on to a stellar career at Clark University, where he was a 2-time All-American and led his team to the Division III finals. Bill Daly was Dan's basketball coach for 3 years at Westfield High. He recalled Dan's work ethic.
Before the summer was over, he went through 6 basketballs. He shot and shot and shot till his hand was raw. His hand got bleeding because the leather basketball would cut from the asphalt.
Teammates gave him the nickname the Iceman.
Danny Trant just knew what to do with the ball. He's cool, calm, never panicked. If he had the shot, he took it. If they converged on him, he was a wizard with the basketball, too.
On the night Dan set the school record with 47 points against Pittsfield,
He was 20 for 24 from the floor, 7 for 8 from the foul line. It's the best performance I ever saw offensively, ever.
Lance Faneuil played at Springfield's Tech High and first saw Dan play in a game against powerhouse Commerce.
You could see his passion when he played. You could see his courage, his confidence, and you can see that he really enjoyed playing also.
Lance later became Trant's teammate and roommate at Clark University.
He could shoot from very deep, and that was before the three-pointer. He had very quick feet. He liked to make the fancy pass. And he was just a really good ball player.
The Boston Celtics chose Dan as the last pick, number 228 in the 1984 college draft. Although the Celtics cut him, he went on to play professionally in Ireland for a few years. Trant married his wife Kathy and in 1991 moved his family, which included 3 children, Jessica, Daniel, and Alex, to Long Island. Here he worked for several brokerage firms before joining Cantor Fitzgerald. On September 11, 2001, Tara was on Flight 11 out of Boston, heading for California with 6 other employees of TJX to tour stores on the West Coast.
When I knew it was her, I got up and I started to wobble, and I said, God, just get me to the phone. And I don't know, you get a spiritual lift, and he got me through that day. And I went down to St. Mary's Church and I said a prayer for her.
Ann recalls the last time she spoke to Brian.
About 10:15, September 10th, he called and said he was thinking about us. He just wanted to tell us how much fun Layla had at her first day of preschool.
Ann was teaching at Southwick High when she saw the attacks on a school TV.
So we immediately tried to get in touch with, his wife, Judy, and the circuit lines were going crazy, and it was unbelievable. I mean, it still seems like a bad dream. They never did find any remains. He was right on the 104th floor, right above where the plane hit. So hopefully he perished immediately and wasn't suffering.
Faneuil was in New York visiting the Trants on September 10th. He gave Dan tickets to a Red Sox-Yankees game for his birthday. Lance, Dan, and his sons went to the game. It was rained out, so they came back early. The next morning, Dan left for work.
We were just sitting around the table having a bagel and coffee and looking at pictures from the 40th birthday party, and that's when a call came in from Dan. He made one call to his wife. He told them that he loved her and the kids and take care of the kids.
In 2012, the Sons of Aaron decided to build a memorial to remember the 3 Westfield natives who died that tragic day. Tara was 30, Brian 41, and Dan 40. Pat Murphy, the former director of the club, came up with the idea.
Being a bricklayer by trade, I've thought of maybe I could build something for him.
All the materials were donated, including the stone, which is New England granite.
It was a real kind of tender, loving thing to do, and it gave me an awful lot of satisfaction to do it.
Every year since 2002, the Sons of Aaron hold a ceremony on the anniversary of 9/11. Last year, various family members attended, including Dan's mother and siblings, Jim Shea and his children, Ann Murphy and her mom, as well as town dignitaries.
Our family, and I know the family of the other 2 from Westfield, truly appreciate the commitment the Sons of Aaron made to establish a wonderful memorial and tribute to these 3 young people who perished so unnecessarily. And I know for our family, this gives us a place to go to honor Brian's memories.
It certainly has less of the grief, and to realize that you have a community that supports you and support the grief that you've gone through.
For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
And Steve tells us that the Daniel Trant Scholarship Fund each year awards 2 scholarships to Westfield High School students for academic and athletic excellence. And still to come on Reel to Reel,
I'm Dan Dumas.
Dan Dumas will have a look at what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield. And Terry Hegarty profiles one cancer survivor's message of hope and strength. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy day and join us Sunday morning at 10. This week, we welcome Monsignor Christopher Conley, Vicar General and Rector of St. Michael's Cathedral, as our Mass presider. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news brief. Bishop Mitchell Rosansky continues to be busy meeting the people of the diocese. One recent event brought him to Feeding Hills and Sacred Heart Parish. Carolee McGrath reports.
You would have thought they were introducing a Hollywood celebrity by the way the crowd reacted to Springfield's Bishop Mitchell Rosansky.
Good evening, everybody.
The bishop, who was installed as the 9th Bishop of Springfield in August, said yes to an invitation to the Faith on Fire charismatic prayer service held at Sacred Heart Church in Feeding Hills.
Emeritus Pope Benedict reminded us that our faith is based on that personal relationship with the Lord Jesus, that our whole church exists to be Jesus in the world, and unless we have that personal relationship with Jesus, then we really don't get the fullness of the message.
Several people throughout the 2-night event shared how they developed a personal relationship with Jesus. Adina Rubin, who has 2 children and 1 on the way, gave her testimony.
I grew up in Brazil in a Catholic church and kind of fell away from God a little bit, for many reasons. One of them was language barrier for me, and at some point in my life I started feeling a little sad and depressed, and then when I came back to church and to the prayer meeting that we have here at Sacred Heart, I just fell in love with the Lord again.
Adina and her husband Jason attend Sacred Heart Parish. Jason is a convert to Catholicism.
I grew up Jewish, and I had my bar mitzvah, and I celebrated the Jewish holidays, Passover and Hanukkah, Yom Kippur.
Jason told the crowd how watching the Mel Gibson film, The Passion of the Christ, started him on a journey. He began attending church with his wife and Life in the Spirit seminars. His story inspired adults and youth alike. Aaron Harlow is a member of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Church in Westfield.
I wanted to come because I wanted to get my relationship with Christ deeper, and I really enjoy listening to the music and being part of adoration.
During the service, people had the chance to go to confession and pray before the Blessed Sacrament. People also had the opportunity to be prayed over by the priests and deacons gathered. The Catholic Charismatic Renewal sponsors other events throughout the year, including prayer groups and an October retreat. I'm Carolee McGrath reporting.
Finally, the Catholic parishes of the Franklin County Deanery have a great reputation for coming together throughout the year for different devotional services, uniting that Catholic community. Back in mid-August, they held their annual Marian procession at Greenfield's Blessed Sacrament Church, where Julie Bollier was in attendance and filed this report.
7 Franklin County parishes were represented at this Marian celebration last month. In addition to those from Blessed Sacrament, there were parishioners from St. Patrick, St. Mary, Our Lady of Peace, Our Lady of Czestochowa, Holy Family, and Holy Trinity. Deacon Joe B. of Holy Trinity Parish gave a lengthy, personalized, and heartfelt homily. Kathleen Galuzzo, director of the Franklin County Deanery Choir, is a parishioner at Holy Trinity.
We send out an advertisement and lots of emails several months ahead of time so that our members of our deanery choir, who are all volunteers, receive them, and those that are available for the day come to rehearse on the Wednesday before the celebration. I've been directing this choir for 8 years, and we have a marvelous group of multi-parish representatives that come to just sing and give their time. The music is one of the most important things to enhancing our prayer.
I really enjoy them. These are a big event for the deanery and for the parish, and today's especially the Blessed Mother's Assumption and the whole Marian kind of thing. And it's some of the most beautiful hymns and prayers of the church.
Heidi and Crimson Helenek of Blessed Sacrament Parish crowned Mary following a procession. About 150 people attended, including priests, deacons, and parishioners from throughout the Franklin County Deanery. This is Julie Beaulieu reporting in Greenfield.
And with beloved devotions in mind, remember you have only one more day, Sunday, September 14th, to pay a visit to the first-class relic of St. Anthony, being presented at St. Anthony Maronite Church on Island Pond Road in Springfield. The final Mass will be tomorrow at 6 p.m., and the church will conclude the presentation when the doors close at 10 p.m. Don't miss out. And for more information on that event and many others, you can log on to our news and information website, iobserve.org. There you'll find up-to-the-minute and accurate news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. You can also see video reports from Reel to Reel and from the award-winning team at the Catholic News Service. That's our news and information website, iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Reel to Reel News Brief.
Each year, the Diocese of Springfield holds a special liturgy to pray for and support those affected in any way by cancer. The Pink Mass, one of a very few in our country, will be held in St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield in just 2 weeks on September 27th at 4 p.m. The Mass will be followed by a fundraising dinner at 6 p.m. called the Celebration of Hope. Terry Hegarty introduces us now to a Springfield woman who recently faced breast cancer and is now volunteering with the Pink Mass Committee, spreading her message of hope and resilience.
Even when she was diagnosed with cancer nearly 3 years ago, Kim Clemens didn't give fear much leeway. In fact, when it came to deciding whether to have chemotherapy for her breast cancer, the single mother of 2 adult children replied right away.
It really wasn't even a thought. I didn't even think twice about it. I just said, bring it on. I can't die.
When she was told on the phone that she had breast cancer, Kim didn't hear much of the rest of the conversation.
I was like Charlie Brown that showed when the teacher talks, it's like, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, that's all I heard. I didn't hear a word she said to me after, I'm so sorry, you have a malignancy. And I pretty much, everything was going through my head like, am I gonna die? You know, what's going to happen with my kids? Do I have to have chemo? It's just so much goes through your head at that time.
She had surgery a month later. Following the lumpectomy, 8 rounds of chemotherapy were prescribed. But after 3 rounds, she was very sick and weak. She pushed for a 4th round anyway. Bring it on, she said, once again. But her body wasn't so willing. She was allergic to the treatments.
Yeah, the chemotherapy definitely just about killed me. That week in the hospital was the worst week of my life.
A member of Holy Name Parish in Springfield, Kim recovered from that week and was in remission. But just 1 year later, she found another lump. She caught that cancer early as well and only needed a lumpectomy. She says self-exams are vital.
I can't even express enough that self-examination even for a male, because men, they say more men die of breast cancer a year because it goes undetected. But both of my cases, I had mammograms very short time from when I found it myself, and neither one of them were picked up on a mammogram. Self-examination is huge.
For the last year now, Kim has been in remission. Kim still comes for regular checkups right here at the Sister Caritas Cancer Center in Springfield, one of the 4 charities that receive funds from the Celebration of Hope Committee. Kim is now a member of the Celebration of Hope Committee, a Springfield-based nonprofit that sponsors the Diocese of Springfield's annual Pink Mass and Celebration of Hope dinner. The Pink Mass is held for anyone who has been affected by any type of cancer. Kim says that her faith has meant a great deal to her, but that cancer made her question her relationship with God.
When this came on me, I kind of lost my faith a little bit. It was about the same time that my cousin lost my family's cousin lost their daughter to cancer young, and also one of my friends lost her baby granddaughter to cancer, all within the same time. And I just thought, God, how could this happen? But I finally pulled myself together and thought, you know what? It's not God's fault. And I found my way back.
Once she was back, Kim participated in the Pink Mass last September. She says that gathering in prayer with others was a great source of support.
You could just feel it in the church. You know, you could feel the love and friendship, and it was just a beautiful Mass. And I'm so glad that I went. I always pray to God just to get me through. You know, I have 2 beautiful children. I didn't want to have them have no mother. So I just pray to God every day that He would make me better. And it's a struggle. And I pray every day that it doesn't come back. I pray for my kids that they don't get it. Prayer is huge.
Bishop Rosansky will be the celebrant for the Pink Mass this year, which will be broadcast the next day at 6 a.m. as part of the Chalice of Salvation program. The Mass is to be followed by an evening fundraising dinner at the Springfield Lodge of Elks. Proceeds are distributed exclusively to Springfield area agencies. Reporting for Reel to Reel, this is Terry Hegarty.
Kim says that as she went through her illness, she was inspired by the examples of others who had battled cancer, and she hopes to serve as a positive example herself. It's clear that she is doing just that. Again, the date for the 4th annual Pink Mass and Celebration of Hope is Saturday, September 27th. A limited number of tickets to the dinner are still available and may be obtained by logging onto our iobserve.org website, looking for the link to the Celebration of Hope website. Well, it certainly has been a busy and exciting week here in the Diocese of Springfield. The visit of the first-class relic of St. Anthony of Padua from Italy began last Saturday with prayer, processions, and even a marching band. Thousands traveled to St. Anthony Catholic Maronite Parish in Springfield to see the relic and pray. Peggy Weber attended many of the wonderful spiritual events and tells us more.
It was a festive and joyful week in Springfield as the first-class relic of St. Anthony of Padua stayed 9 days in the diocese. The relic was formally transferred and welcomed to St. Michael's Cathedral. Conventual Franciscan Fathers Enzo Poiana and Alessandro Ratti presented the relic to Bishop Mitchell T. Rosansky. The relic then journeyed to a side street near St. Anthony's, where it was presented to Maronite Bishop Gregory Mansour. A lively procession then led the relic into the church. The opening Mass, which was featured on the Chalice of Salvation, was standing room only. Bishop Mansour praised Father George Zena, pastor of St. Anthony's, for bringing the relic to Springfield.
This began with a hope and a vision in the heart of a priest who wanted to share with his parish his great love for their patron.
Bishop Mansour said St. Anthony is not a soft saint, and added that St. Anthony is known as the patron saint of lost items, but there is more to him.
It's not only about things. I lost my keys, I lost my cell phone, I lost my hair, whatever it is. It's about something even deeper. Maybe I lost my peace of mind. Maybe I lost my ability to pray. Maybe I lost my capacity to love, or my ability to forgive, or let go of a grudge.
The 9-day visit included special heritage days and opportunities for various groups to understand more about St. Anthony and the Maronite Rite. Hundreds of Catholic school students attended a special lecture and Mass. Eric Tessassini said he had a feeling of calm when he touched the relic and said he learned a lot.
It was beautiful just to see the different aspect of the church. I've grown up with the Roman Catholic Rite, and to be in Maronite Rite, it was just beautiful just to see a different side of the church I never knew before.
Maura O'Sullivan of St. John the Baptist School in Ludlow also enjoyed the experience. She said she was glad to venerate the relic and pray.
Well, I have someone who has cancer in my family, so I prayed for them. Then I prayed for forgiveness as usual, just because it is like a relic and it's really special, and just to be blessed throughout my life.
Father Ratty goes around the world with the relic of St. Anthony. He said he considers it a privilege to be his traveling companion.
In every place we go, we can find many friends of the saint. Every time. They never met him because he is a saint of 800 years ago, but they are friends. They had a close relationship with this saintly man even before the contact with that relic.
The visit of the relics of St. Anthony have created a joyous and festival-like atmosphere here at St. Anthony's. There have been processions, prayer groups, novenas, and yes, St. Anthony's bread and candles to light in his honor. The church was filled to capacity many times throughout the week. A special Mass for the Diocese of Springfield was celebrated by Bishop Rosansky.
I was just amazed at all of the groundwork that had been done, and so I'm grateful to all of those here at St. Anthony Maronite Rite Church and to all of those who worked along with them to enable these days to take place. To see the number of people that have come, the number of people who've come to confession, particularly our youth who have come to confession here. St. Anthony continues to work miracles, and it's in a beautiful way of touching the hearts of people and awakening and reawakening the faith within them.
The week continued with pilgrims from the Archdiocese of Hartford and from members of various heritages. A liturgy was conducted in Polish by the conventual Franciscans in the diocese. A lecture series was led by Father Warren Savage for hundreds who wanted to learn more about this special saint.
St. Anthony, first and foremost, was somebody who loved the Word of God. He could not get enough of reading and studying and contemplating and nourishing himself on the Word of God.
Many contributed to this special visit, but Father George, Deacon Enzo Di Giacomo, and Deacon Norman Hanush were the driving force behind the event. Of course, they had good administrative help from Marianne Bolduc, the parish secretary. This visit truly was special and touched the lives of so many people. For Real to Real, I'm Peggy Weber.
And the relic can still be seen for one more day, tomorrow, at the church on Island Pond Road in Springfield. We are also very happy to report that the Franciscans from the Basilica in Padua have given the parish a small, first-class relic of their own that they will be able to keep in their church. The parish hopes to continue the joy and enthusiasm from this week and will have a special Mass and novena in honor of St. Anthony every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Remember, you can always keep up to date on all of the news in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world by logging on to our news and information website, iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. And join me again next week from the 2014 Big E for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you. Enjoy your week.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.